Hi, welcome back to my channel, Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Christina. Today I'm here again with Ian, and actually he is the Freedom Astrologer, and we're going to continue our series, which is the Forever After Forest, and we're going to talk about psychic ability today. Welcome Ian back. Thank you so much to being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's a blast, and I think it's a subject we both enjoy, and I think the audience will love as well because these are strange, unique gifts that we're going to discuss, and quite a unique combinations in the chart as well sometimes.
Yes, it is. And last time we were talking about, actually, I thought we're going to be able to cover the writer indication and psychic ability in one, but we were talking, and it was flowing so great between us. And I was like, all right, maybe we need to do another, continue the with the psychic ability. On the other hand, I would like you to, for example, a few of the subscribers was asking whose chart is that. You remember last time we were
Yes.
actually talking about that. Let's see. And I said, oh, Obama is a Leo and, very good speaking ability and writing ability. And after I found out who is it, but, this is, I just want you to actually share that with the viewers.
Yeah, I will definitely share it. I just want I'll share the slides as well so you can see
Yes.
the chart again. And guys, I we played a game last time. This was the chart we kind of asked you to guess, and Christina did a lot of explaining of what these aspects mean. And now I'm going to reveal. I threw a bit of a curveball for you guys. This is actually my chart, so it's not anybody super famous, although I'm somewhat in the public eye. But I have published, over 10 books now, and I do have some ability as well in the psychic realm. So, yeah, a bit of a curveball. So you know what a chart of let's say astrologer, writer, psychic person looks like.
Yes, I
Um,
love that. I really like your Jupiter to being in the ninth house and in Gemini, that is typical for publishing. And also, I do love the fact you have the Kazimi over here. Yes, is it
yeah, it
17?
is. So
Yes.
I would count that as a Kazemi as well. People have different opinions what a Kazemi exactly is, but I would say for me that's a Kazemi as well.
Yeah, it's 17 minutes. 17
Yeah.
minutes, it is a Kazimi. So this is a Kazimi and it's in your 11th house, which is, 11th house is also luck. And I really like the 11th house. But, somehow it could be also lottery winning, but it's the VIP house as well and luck as well. So I really like your Kazimi over here. Ian, can you please actually make your volume louder because somehow I hear you very, like vaguely, and I don't
Mm.
know how is that going to come out
Okay, of
on
course.
Zoom.
Is that a little bit better now?
Yes, it is a little bit
Mm-hmm.
better.
Okay, sorry. So I'll talk like this and make it a little bit louder as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this was the game, but I wanted to do another game for you guys listening at home, and this time this is more of a straight shooter type thing. It's not anybody, you know, not famous. Let's put it this way. It's somebody very very famous, and their chart is actually very specifically tailored or picked for this topic because they're very, or they were, this is a hint I will give you, they were a very world famous psychic person who helped heal a lot of people. And they also gave a lot of predictions that we're still, let's say, looking at right now in our modern times. But I'll make it a little bit interesting for you guys as well. It will be with prizes. So everybody who is watching this video on Christina's channel will get one guess as one user, or one guess per user, and everybody who gets whose chart it is will get my best-selling course, How to Make the Best Deals with Astrology. And everybody actually who ventures a guess in the comments will get my Sleep Better with Astrology ebook. So, jump in, take a guess. If you really want the good astrology stuff, let's put it this way, do a little research. I'm sure you will get it. And as we move through some of these positions and some of the psychic matters, we will come back to this chart as well. And we'll look at the aspects. We'll look at what's so prominent here. What made this person such a good psychic?
Very good. That is actually lovely. And thank you so much for offering. And by the way, guys, I want to tell you, we already created the 2026 astrology calendar with Ian. So he did all the beautiful artwork because I'm totally imbecile with with AI creation, and and it is just came out so beautiful. And because of obviously he's an amazing astrologer, he knew what I was writing about, and he created all the art, like. Connected with actually with the content, so it is just like very, very spiritual and very mystical as well. And it's going to be up for sale. It's gonna be on my website, and also it's gonna be, probably we're gonna do that through Lada as well. So just look out, watch out for that. And next time when we are here, we're also going to give you prices, and it's going to be the astrology calendar. If you're going to comment and try to find out whatever we're going to share. We don't know the next subject yet, though, but I just wanted to make sure you know about that. And the link gonna be below. We're gonna talk about after this, and how to actually share the link, and they can buy that. So, all right, okay, let's continue. Sorry about.
No, I think that calendar was amazing. I think it turned out really well. So, guys, it's exciting times. But let's jump in and talk about psychic abilities and astrology and how everything is connected. And, all these writing abilities, like we, discussed in the first part, they're also connected to what we're going to talk here. So definitely, if you haven't seen the first part of this webinar series, go check out the first webinar series as well. But a couple of general guidelines for you guys. Sometimes, these let's say psychic abilities are hidden from us, and very often astrology can help. Understanding your childhood can help, and what I've seen with working with people, and what happened in actually my case was as well was when we're born into a very logical, let's say realistic family background,
Mhm.
usually these types of gifts, these types of things we have inside of us, and things we can do, and that cannot be explained, these are actually talked down upon, and this makes the person or the child suppress these abilities. Why? Because they want to survive, they want to be loved, they want to be cherished, they want to be appreciated within the family unit. So this is one of the things I really need to mention every time you speak about these things, because most likely, if you're watching this already, you have these abilities, or they have been suppressed, and you need to bring them out a little bit. Yeah, and some good things for you to, let's say, start bringing them out from a very practical point of view is start documenting these, especially at first. Write these events down, write exactly down what happened and what happened after you had this, whatever it is, maybe a vision, maybe a sensation, maybe a hearing of some sort. And these will be your proof on the path to kind of prove to yourself that you actually have these gifts and abilities, and they might have been suppressed. Now, also cleansing and grounding exercises. These are always good to actually make sense of everything that's happening. So some of you might be having weird sensations, weird visions, weird audio, even you can hear audio. To understand and make sense of some of these messages that are given to you. Meditation, cleansing, grounding, all of these are good to, because some of the times these messages are very, very symbolic, and you need actually time to understand what's happening. And I think the last one here is definitely seek supportive people, supportive mentors who actually have done what you're actually trying to do, or doing your best to do, because they will help you validate some of the craziness that your parents or your family won't do. So this is, I think, very important for you to uncover or recover some of the abilities that might have been suppressed in the past. But let's pick up here and let's move with clairvoyance. So clairvoyance is what we can call as clear seeing. So sometimes we see images, visions, events, even in our mind's eye. Sometimes people see them eyes closed, sometimes they see them eyes open. For me personally, it happens both. I can be sitting on the couch just playing with my sons, and sometimes just some vision or an image gets shown to me. So yeah, this is maybe one of the most well known or most popular ones, but I think it's also one that is or can be very confusing if you don't know what's happening and you don't have anybody kind of next to you kind of confirming to you what's actually happening, what you're actually seeing.
It can be
um
very scary at the beginning, yes.
yes,
Especially if you are younger and if you are only in your teenage, or if you have actually children who are clairvoyant, like my children are totally born with open eyes. And, at the beginning they didn't understand, but I was very, very supportive because already, I have psychic ability. I'm a clairvoyance as well. And, I see everything open eyes. So this is sometimes I see look through people saying goodbye to me. Like this is very, very. It could be very scary.
definitely, and especially if you're seeing scary things as well. If you're
Yes.
saying it's not always very positive, because I think when I was younger, I had this kind of notion that oh, when these gifts are open more, I have these positive visions of how amazing my life is going to be all the time. The reality is much different. You're going to see the darkness, you're going to see the light, you're going to see everything in between as well. So be really like prepared for that.
Mhm.
mm, yeah, so one good thing again, if you're starting on the path, is the sensation and feeling of deja vu is constantly starts happening. So what can it look like? It can look like literally you're looking around the room and it seems like this has already happened. What is actually happening, this scene was somewhere given to you somewhere in the past. You were shown this actual scene, this actual event, and this starts happening more and more as you grow along your journey. So take this as a more of a like a positive sign. Yeah, and if there was a lot of like let's say dismissing your visions from parents, like literally right now as an adult, you might be seeing them actually constant, maybe even every day, and just like disregarding them, but actually you're giving good and valuable information to be used in your everyday life.
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
beginning,
yeah,
at the beginning it could feel like you're going crazy. And especially I was working as in my early ages, in my 20s, in a psychiatric hospital and in a special ed teacher, and over there you couldn't tell to your professor, or you couldn't tell anyone, you see and you are a clairvoyant. Obviously they would put me into the hospital with my patient, because of there was a lot of they dismissed and they didn't believe, and they thought you are crazy or charlatan or whatever. So obviously, but right now everything is open, everybody is talking about that. And this time all children are having a lot easier because we are more open-minded, and it's easier to get connected with other psychics, clairvoyant, and it is, yeah.
Yeah, luckily it's 100% getting better. More parents are open to it as well. I just wanted a couple of examples to give you, like real life examples. You can see, I'll give you one of my kind of weird examples of where I made a mistake, but I also had like saw a vision. So a couple of years ago, I had this big vision of a huge flood coming to a city where there are big skyscrapers and big buildings. And I immediately thought, my logic went New York, close to water, quite low, lots, water around,
Mhm.
big skyscrapers. I was like, okay, New York is going to be flooded. But in the end, it turned out, remember last year, I think it was last year, Dubai had that big floods
Oh yeah.
with the, so it was actually that. And sometimes, like, even if you ask for clarity, and sometimes, they're not going to, show you everything, every detail. They're not going to show you, this is Dubai, this is, this. There's a lot of room for interpretation as well. So be open to it as well. Yeah, I
Yes, when
think.
I had
Yeah, go ahead.
actually the vision about Turkey's earthquake, and I told to a lot of my clients and my friends actually who are from Turkey, and they were going back to Turkey that summer, and I said, can you please not go right now because you see something which is like the the soil, the ground is gonna open, so it's an earthquake. And I was like, there is a lot of death, and that year, it was 2.5 years ago, it happened, obviously. And actually two of my neighbors were like, okay, we are not going back, so they were listening. And when it happened, they were like, I don't know where do you get your information, but this is crazy. And I was like, yeah. So that I was hearing the Turkey. It's gonna be Turkey. So I heard the country's name back then. But many times when I see something, it is just like I look around and there is like three little orbs, floating,
Mhm.
and then it's something like electricity, or it looks like some kind of thunder inside. And the other hand, when I got pregnant with Jombor and I didn't know I was pregnant, the angel came, and it was a tiny baby angel, and said everything gonna be all right. And flapping around, I didn't see the angel's face, just like it was from behind and flapping the little. And I came out from meditation and I was like, wow, all right, something is happening. What is going on? And obviously, 2 days later, I found out I'm already like 9 weeks pregnant, and I didn't know about that. So, yeah, that was like Jombor came to me and say, hey, mommy, you still don't know about me, and I'm here. And it was very cute.
Yeah, like I think these are perfect examples because sometimes, like, you hear the exact thing, and then it's there's more room for interpretation. This is why I like documenting, understanding, like having mentors. All of these things are actually good for you. Now let's talk a little bit about the astrological indicators of clairvoyance as well, because this is one of the reasons why we're at. So I do like to make like a main planet or whatever like psychic ability we're discussing, but this doesn't mean that if you have Jupiter somewhere, it doesn't mean that you're not clairvoyant. We're just like focusing on the the strongest planet that is associated with clairvoyance. So this is Neptune, and we really wanted to be aspecting in a harmonious, if possible, Moon or Mercury. Of course, it does work with square or harder aspect opposition. Sometimes it's harder to interpret when there's a harder aspect. Lots of psychic communication with Mercury Neptune aspects. So Neptune in the first, fourth, eighth, or 12th house specifically, and you're going to see let's say this pattern a lot, because fourth, eighth, and 12th are the water, so-called water houses. they're more, let's say, emotional, intuitive, connected to these outer realms, and this is one of the reasons why they're more, mm, let's say, in our focus when we're talking about psychic abilities. And the first house is you, so whatever you have there, I one of my main teachers, my mentors who's helped me a lot, has Neptune in the first house, for example. So there, I've never seen anybody so connected to the other realms. So Neptune in the first, definitely.
I have
He,
Neptune in the first house, conjunct
okay.
with North Node, and then it's trine with the moon. And
Oh,
I also have a water grand trine in the water houses. And I have two fixed sign, two royal fixed sign. One is with Neptune, the other and North Node. The other one is on my Sun in Pisces. Obviously, I have Pisces placement, so that's yeah. So that's very very psychic and
you
very
are.
connected people.
I would say that's extremely psychic. That's one of the, I would say, almost like ideal what you want for a psychic. So if let's say you're an astrologer, or you're interested in astrology, and you happen to get somebody's, natal details, and they're not sharing, maybe they're sharing, and you see something like that, there you're like, I can most likely trust this person with my questions, and
Yeah.
getting the answers that I want. Um, Jupiter in the eighth, ninth, 12th, water signs. I would add fourth house as well. Almost always fourth house as well. Fourth house is super, super intuitive and emotional. Grand Trine, Christina already mentioned. Water signs. We want water signs, water houses. I also put here involving personal outer planets, if we can. And then a moon in the third house. And now, moon in the third house is the high priestess position. So, what does the high priestess position mean? This means a person who is extremely, let's say, clairvoyant, connected. If you see this, and I've seen this, clients come to me, and whenever I see a moon in the third house, it's always like, do you have these things? I ask them, do you have these things? They always say yes. um, so again, water signs, but even one of my clients has it in Aries, for example. Still very, very connected. South node in Scorpio, or eighth house. I would add here 12th house as well, because I have 12th house South node. I think South node is one of the most misunderstood configurations, or let's say placements, or we can't call it the planet, but it's, let's say, call it a point. um, it's very, very, very important when we're talking about psychic abilities, especially. And don't disregard, like, there's a lot of information there, like South node. Oh, whatever you have, wherever South node is, you need to let go, and you can't use it, etc. It's more complex than that. You can actually use it. It was given to you in a previous life. You've mastered it, so you actually can bring it in, and you can bring it into this lifetime as well.
It's a
But
gift, actually, the
yeah,
South
yeah,
Node. It is a gift, and South Node in Scorpio and it, my husband is a South Node Scorpio, and he is, since he was a young boy, he saw a lot of things and heard. He didn't get a lot of support though from the parents because they are very fixed, and they didn't want to hear about that. They thought it's all crazy. But he also have the moon in the third house, so that's funny, because of the moon in the third. Yes, but the moon in the 12th and the 8th house also very, very important over there for clairvoyant. And usually they feel that, for example, George, my husband, can talk to the past, whoever passed away, either with the dream, he has that very, very lucid dream, or he hears and like hears someone to talk to him. And that is so not actually in the 8th house.
yeah. South node,
Scorpio
super. Scorpio,
and
but
8th house.
this is where, like, if you have something else maybe in Scorpio, again, it can play a part. Like, this is what I also wanted to mention. It's not on the slides. if you start to see in the chart some hard placement either in the fourth house, maybe Saturn, maybe Pluto, maybe Neptune, or an opposition or a square to the fourth house ruler or first house ruler. And these oppositions or squares sometimes are the ruler of the family house or fourth house or the 10th house, which is again one of the parents. This can mean more oppression, more suppressed family environment where some of these gifts, among other things, weren't allowed to flow so freely. Let's put this out there as well. Some additional patterns, and this is where I need to mention Donnie Lim as well, because he was the one kind of mentioning these is in our other videos about this topic. Mystic rectangle, kite formations, grand trine, all of these are very important. Again, just if you're doing this on your own, then the more water signs, more water houses are involved, moon, Neptune, Jupiter, more of these planets are involved, the more stronger it is. Okay, so let's take the next psychic gift, clairaudience, which is clear hearing. This means auditory messages, just like Christina said, hearing the words sometimes. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's sounds. Very often it's sounds. And I tell you that if it sounds, it's extremely confusing. But again, it's for you to interpret. And I think this is where I need to mention the more, let's say, your intellectual capacity is heightened, your mind, the stronger your mind is, the wider your, let's say, interests are, the easier it is to also dissect the symbolism that they're giving to you. But you can always ask them to make it more clear for you specifically. This is one of the things I think I learned too late.
Yeah,
But
knowledge is power. And obviously, if you are very open-minded, if you read a lot, if you're watching a lot of movies, if you are connected, have a lot of knowledge, it's easier to interpret. Yes, the symbolism, the signs. So yeah, that's for sure.
um so sounds, voices, music, very underrated, by the way. Music, I get a lot of messages. I just sometimes wake up, just song, or sometimes it just comes. Very important message. I had one even today. Very, very important and underrated. Again, I need to give the part of can be mistaken for imagination, because oh, I just hear a song, there's nothing there, I just here it goes again, and you disregard it. Go and listen to the song, go and listen to the words, go and listen to the feeling, sensation, sometimes even the video, sometimes even like go on YouTube, look at the video, there's some message in it for
Message.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Or for others sometimes. Yeah, songs, phrases, and start observing, start documenting. Again, this is where my scientific mind is still like, I like the documentation of these things. Okay, astrological indicators for clairaudience. Main planets, I like main planets here, Mercury and Uranus. Again, if there's other things, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get it, but these are really, really important ones if we're getting messages. Mercury is the messenger. Mercury in Aquarius, Pisces, 12th house, strong aspect to Neptune. Again, I would say, yeah, Neptune, sometimes even Venus we can put in here when it's a watery house, maybe Scorpio, something, Pisces again. These things, everything associated with music, because we can also associate Taurus. Taurus is a very let's say a little bit of an underrated in that regard, but it is sound because it's so practical and so earthly, but it is sound. So in this case, we actually like things in Taurus as well. Now, Uranus, Mercury aspects, very, very good. Again, similar signs that I mentioned. Moon in air signs, Gemini, definitely. Fourth, eighth, 12th houses, again, similar, or in the first house, making an aspect from the first house somehow to the other things I mentioned. Okay, mentioned already Venus, third, eighth, ninth, 12th houses, also good and important to look out for. And what are some practical recommendations here? I think I'm repeating myself a little bit, but meditation, but automatic writing and channeling sessions. So sometimes this means with other people, and they can then verify these things and reflect back to you what you're actually hearing. This is good. Um, yeah, and I think music in general helps to kind of let's say tune into it. I'm not saying you need to constantly listen to music, but just having a wide interest in music is a good way to
Frequencies itself, if you are
yes.
listening actually the notes and the frequencies, it doesn't even have to be someone who, you like reggae music or whatever. Many times lately, I can relax if I use the 396, 369s, the Tesla frequencies lately,
Mhm.
because it's not just makes me really, really calm, but also very psychic as well. The frequencies is very important. Just listening something which is like, which feels good, because actually music, it feels good when it's actually connected with your heartbeat. If you know that, if you love a music, then your heartbeat actually become the tones of the music or whatever they say. That's very important. But frequencies are really important over here. Yes.
And very often, sometimes why you're hearing or why they are even sending you the message is to bring you to a frequency. Like Christina said, it's because something in the song, something in the the music will bring you into a place where you can do other things, or you can release an emotion, or there's a lot of things involved. So I think clairaudience is actually pretty underrated. From, let's say, from musical point of view, like the hearing of clear messages, I think that's quite popular. Because Mercury and Uranus are a bit different, but they're also similar. Mercury is, you're getting the words are communicated to, but Uranus is like sometimes you get like a packet of words, and it just comes all like a thunderbolt, like a Uranus into your brain.
Uranus is the Akashic record, actually, and it is your crown chakra. That's how you connect with the divine energy. And that's why it's very, very important with, with psychic ability, or, yeah, it's truly magical Uranus. I love Uranus, not just the color of Uranus, my favorite color whatsoever, but, the craziness of Uranus, because, it's like, I like to be around crazy people and someone who are not boring and very unique. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Uranus, 100%. So Sentience, it's the next one we have. So Sentience is uh, we can say one of the most confusing, but there are others. So what is Sentience? Clear feeling, sensing emotions, energies, bodily sensations. So this is one of the things that really started for me, personally, that where I kind of understood that these things really have a meaning, like have a message. So this can be, goosebumps, chills, tingling. Sometimes it can be, somebody's, hip is hurting, and you start to feel that pain in your body.
Yeah.
Like I said, the ability to feel other people's emotions or energy of environment. So this is, but I want to, some of you who have this um, gift, so if you publicly say it out that you might have and you're feeling, and this is what you feel, expect, especially in a group setting, that to be challenged and people to blatantly lie to your face. So and they say no, 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 this is not what's going on, and you cannot basically prove it, that it actually going on. So be careful with it. um there are good people out there who later on come back to you and say sometimes like, hey, yeah, you were correct, and this is what I was actually going through. But reserve and use this gift wisely, in proper settings, in and with people who are actually open and well, let's say almost available to hear and want to hear what you have to say, to them, because this
Yeah,
can be
this is very
scary.
tricky because, actually, your words are very important. And sometimes you can actually manifest some kind of illness if that is not there yet, and that's why we need to be really careful and ethical, moral, with our words over here. So, and a lot of people are not willing to take any messages, they get scared or they get rejection. We get rejection right away. So you really, even sometimes, karmically, if you get involved to other people's life, it could be also, a little bit tricky. However, I truly believe, karmically, people do find each other's, and there is not, if somebody wants to have an opinion from me, or if I have to tell someone, hey, there is a cancer in your body, because I do have a lot of feelings like that. And I do tell to certain people, there is an accident, or I see a shade on your breast. Can you go to check it? Call my client. Oh, there is nothing in my breast. Then next day she fell with the bicycle. There was a huge shader on the breast. And then she said, oh, I fell with the bicycle. You were right. And I said, no, 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 go, because I see a tumor. She went, and it was actually a 9 centimeter. How they didn't even realize, there was a humongous tumor in the chest, but thanks God she's totally fine. They removed it and totally fine. Sometimes you are capable to tell it people, but sometimes you just can't. And do you talk about these feelings like a knowing, or it is a sensation in the body?
So this is, when we're talking about clairsentience, I would classify it more as a feeling in the body, and we're going to talk about claircognizance as well, which
Okay.
is like the knowing, like you suddenly know, and we're
Yeah.
going to cover that one as well. But this I would, yeah, differentiate it. You can like you go into a group setting and suddenly get anxious or get angry for no reason. It's like pissed off. This is what this is
Okay.
how it can manifest even,
All
as
right.
well.
Sensation.
Sensation, yeah. So be careful, guys. So some of the astrological important placements and things to follow. Pluto, I would say, is the main one here. Scorpio as the primary sign. Pluto placement first, again, same, first, fourth, eighth, 12th. Moon and Pluto aspects are, I would say, very, very important, especially a conjunction, especially trine or sextile. I would say in that order specifically, because remember, Moon is the body actually as well, and we're going to feel the things in our body. The more easier aspects you have, the easier it is to you for you to differentiate. Because if it's a moon square Pluto, for example, you can still do it, but it will be just harder to understand, and you might even get like angry because once you discover it, it won't be so easy to navigate, and then you might get angry and frustrated and even powerless. Like, why do I even have this gift?
Or
So,
fear. It
or
could
fear,
create a lot of fear,
a lot of fear.
because you see something clearly, but you're still in denial, or you don't get support. I do have Pluto Moon sextile actually, and that, like, again, there is an other psychic ability for me as well, because I have that in sextile. Actually, I have that in a mystic triangle, but yes.
That's, yeah, that's wild.
That's
That's
right, I know.
because you're
With
allowed.
with Neptune involved and North Node. So like
That's
absolutely crazy wild, yeah.
yeah, that's really good. Um, yeah, guys, go to Christina. She will know what's happening with you. So Mars, Pluto, also Mars, Pluto. Mars is like the physical body as well, so we need to keep that in mind. Like Moon and Mars both are. So, and I need to mention maybe first house ruler as well, which is also the first your body. So Neptune in the fourth house. This is your emotional boundary still going away, so you can pick up everything into your body. Stelliums in Scorpio, ascendant, which is you, in water signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, or ascendant ruler in the water houses or water signs.
You know what I realized, Mars Pluto aspect, and good it came up here. I did realize that Mars Pluto, most of the dictators actually has Mars Pluto aspect conjunction or
Oh,
square, but in regular people somehow, in general people, if I get connected with Mars Pluto conjunction, women in my life, they are terrible, like terrible because they use black magic, for example, or
mm-hmm.
they're very jealous, they are very possessive, they are so that is my opinion, and I don't want to have that kind of astrological discrimination. Sorry guys if you have Pluto Mars conjunction, and even if Moon is there, the third one to conjunct with this or square with it or opposing with this Mars Pluto conjunction, this is like crazy, like really really crazy.
Yeah, I think I need to mention here like Pluto, Scorpio, can be definitely black magic. Uh, hard Neptune aspects also
Yes.
can be. Why I'm saying can be. There is always free will, so you can make the decision. I would urge you not to use black magic. I would urge you to use these gifts not to control people, but to help people. This is the I would say the only reason why we even have these, why we even discussing these, why we should be using these. But
Yes.
anyway, similar things you to do. But I think here because the physical body is so important, we're kind of using this as a tool. So grounding, cleansing again, but movement with the body. Sometimes it's exercise, sometimes it's jogging, sometimes it's some sort of movement. If you can do it in water, I would say it's even better. Like swimming I really like because it cleanses and you move and you kind of understand what's yours and what's not yours. Yeah, so good.
If you have a Neptunian aspect, moving is dancing, for example.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
have Neptune, Mars, it could be capoeira or it could be Tai Chi. You check the aspect and then you also going to know what kind of movement going to actually support this, or, like getting rid of that kind of bad influence, like you think you go crazy or you're very obsessive, or, and it could actually help you to get rid of that kind of bad feelings. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Like Christina said, Tai Chi, really good. There are other things, but this is a really good example. Okay, so now we're at clear cognizance, which we already discussed briefly, but this is the clear knowing. So this can mean you're just sitting there without any, like maybe your mind is blank and suddenly you know something. I will give you an example. Like I was having dinner, just eating, and I think yeah, my wife was telling me about something, and I just knew that what she was telling me about, um, that this, let's say, couple was going to get a divorce. It just hit me. It just hit me, and it hit me 6 months. They're going to get a divorce, and unfortunately, in this case, it happened. It's just an example of what can happen, and it can be very again, you might think you're thinking it, or you might think you're again going crazy or imagining it. But it's the way I can give you this, it comes so purely sometimes. There is almost no way to imagine it. But the problem is again, when the childhood stuff happened, you start to doubt the actual knowing. And yeah,
So
she
the
was
knowing is it's a very weird feeling, I believe, because of there is no way you can ignore that, and you are so certain about that. Sometimes I even have guilt because like knowing, I see a person, I don't even shake the hand because from shaking hand I already can tell the personality because I'm a palmist, so right away I going to get the energy, get in and whatever. But just knowing right away, and many times I make a comment which is my husband and my friends are like, oh my God, shut up, Christy. And the moment I see it, a week later, it's coming out. And everybody is shocked. For example, I met my son, one of the teacher, and I was like, oh my God, this guy is such a weirdo sexually. And everybody was like, Christy, are you crazy? He's the nicest guy. Guess what? He got arrested. He was working in the school district and he did something terrible. But right away, I saw him once and I said it. And knowing when I was a little girl, I knew I going to have May 1st babies. I thought I gonna have twins. I always knew I gonna have boys, always knew. There was never a doubt. I never had to ask the doctor. And with Jombor, the doctor even told me it's a girl until, I was 8 months pregnant and I was like, you wrong. I gonna have a boy and that's it. I just know it. And I thought I gonna have twins. And Martin was a twin. And I lost the other baby. And guess what? One day, Jombor said, when he was already talking, why are you pushing me, Martin? You do that just like in mommy's belly, you pushed me out. So actually, Jombor came back, and May 1st, May 2nd, it still feel like a twin, right? So but I always knew that I'm gonna have May babies, twin pregnancy, and everything. Since I'm a little girl, I was 8 years old, and I kept telling that to everyone. Why? I don't know. Did I manifest that because I repeated? Maybe I did. Who knows? But definitely, and knowing things like many times, it just like I have a lot of other experience when I just like knew what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. Oh, first off, I woke up from meditation. Oh, but that was something else. It's a clairvoyant. I woke up from meditation. I called my friend who lives in Crete, in Greece or Crete, no, next to Spain. I forget the name. Mallorca. And I said, oh, Amy, congratulations for your pregnancy. She said, oh, Christy, we cannot get pregnant with the second. I was like, yes, you are. And you are having a twin boys and gonna uh, be born on January 12th on Pluto Saturn conjunction. She said, oh my God, this is weird. We hang up. 2 weeks later, Christy, I'm pregnant. Then a month later, oh my God, it's twins. And she said, I'm not even going to question if it's boys or when it's gonna born, because the boys born a month before, January 12th, but I said Pluto Saturn conjunction, and it was boys. So since then, nobody is questioning me, because this is like knowing, but the knowing, I always knew I'm having the boys, and it is just like, it's crazy when you no way there is no doubts, it is you just have that knowing and it's there and it's peaceful, sometimes not very peaceful if you know something terrible happening, obviously, you know
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is one of the things that it's for for you to have that much detail. That also gives an indication that this is happening from somewhere else, that it's not only
yeah.
your imagination. So these are
No,
good
that's not him.
indications.
For example, poor my husband George could never buy me a present for a long time because he was always like, "This time you're not gonna figure out. I did something." Because he's very romantic, and I said, "But did you hire actually a violinist on my birthday to play my favorite music?" And at one point he said, F you, Christy. I cannot buy you anything because this is terrible. Like pottery. He tried everything, and I always, oh, did you do that? And And after a while, I was just, I don't know why I even said it. Maybe he wanted to actually test me if I know. And every single time I knew what is he. And right now he just asked me. He's still trying his best. And right now, like twice, I was like, oh, surprised. But I always found out.
Yeah, like this is I would say like a more of a fun way to use your gift, but also like also a good way to practice. Let's say if you know need to practice. Yeah, primary planet. We put or I put Jupiter here. This is you know again you will get it with other planets, but Jupiter is I would say the main one. Um, again placed or aspecting personal planets. What I mean by prominently placed here is again uh, first house definitely, ninth house definitely, conjunct first house ruler. I would say again similar. Mercury, Jupiter, Jupiter, Uranus aspects. Stellium is in Sagittarius. I want to say a couple of things about these Mercury, Jupiter, Jupiter, Uranus aspects. This is where it can get a little bit confusing, like we had with claircognizance. Is it the knowing or is it the feeling? There can be a lot of kind of mix and matches here and there. Just try to keep an open mind with it and open feeling, open knowing, and don't get stuck in, oh, I have Uranus or I have Jupiter in the ninth house, I must be claircognizant. uh, yeah, most likely you have that gift, but maybe there's a Uranus aspect, maybe there's a Pluto somewhere in the mix. Again, it will kind of like mix it up, and you will get different types of gifts. um Here, definitely crown chakra meditations, automatic writing, intention setting, external confirmations. If you can get somebody to confirm to you, like Christina's friend calling, oh my God, this is the perfect way to kind of confirm to yourself that you're actually doing on the right path with it. Now, crown chakra meditations is an interesting one because this is one of the places where the energy can come in. So the knowing can come in from that chakra. So this is one of the reasons why I putting it here. But like, I'm always a little bit skeptical or almost like careful with these very crown chakra meditations, because you're actually at times, especially if you're a beginner, there can be a lot of it's not always optimistic and positive, and all these entities and energies that you're picking up on, these are not always like the best, and you need to differentiate, you need to learn, and you need to ask, and you need to communicate, and you need to put boundaries there as well. So be careful, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sometimes you can invite energy what's not supposed to be there, and it's very hard actually to get rid of. And yeah, so it has to be careful, like when you are doing crown chakra or any kind of meditation, yeah. Or for example, hypnotherapy. It's also very, just be careful who is your hypnotherapist, because when I had my reincarnation regression
Mm.
hypnosis, the guy, the psychiatrist was actually very new into this, and he couldn't bring me back. So I was stuck, and I had multiple people in the room. My mother was screaming. I heard her from far away, like in another dimension. But it was very scary. So whoever you get connected with, like if you are doing mentorship or helping, make sure the person has the right information and the best intention. That's the most important, best intention, because there is a lot of people who are using their energies, as we were talking about that, on the wrong way, right?
Unfortunately, yes. And people in this, we can say business or this type of
Charlatans.
charlatans and people who use people blatantly for their energy, for their gifts, for their everything. So be careful. It happens, and we like to stay away from it if possible.
Let me mention something. The fifth harmony, actually, which is a quintile, which is 72 degrees. I was checking multiple charts, and actually, the quintile, for example, Jupiter in Pisces, quintile with Mercury in Aqua, it is actually also something to do with either clairvoyance or automatic writing.
Mm,
People, those people has some kind of knowledge or getting the knowledge through, messages they start to write or scribble. It doesn't have to be writing Mercury, but scribbling, and you got actually images on your page like, oh my God, I didn't even know how could I draw like this, but what is it? And finally you realize there is symbolism in it, and that could be. So when I checked, many times, like quintile was very, very important
mm.
in writing abilities and also psychic abilities as well.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah, that's a good catch. Okay, so we're getting to the end. So some lesser known modalities, and I left maybe one of the biggest ones at the end there as well. Um, Claire Gustins, this is clear tasting. So this is a very strange one. I think this is a very difficult one to master. I'm definitely not mastered it at all. But first bits and pieces have come to my awareness as well. So this is where you can suddenly taste it, suddenly taste a message in your mouth. So this can be blood, for example. This can be a food. This can be something that is a very, very acute. You can understand what it is, maybe sometimes not, but again, you're not eating anything and suddenly there's some taste in your mouth. Be, let's say, this I think needs a lot of practice and a lot of experience as well. So just to keep you kind of in the loop. Now, clear smelling is also important. I also use the blood example here because sometimes you can smell, for example, what's it like burning wood, for example. This can mean there's a fire coming. Blood, smelling blood. There's an accident. There's a physical accident. I want to say here that I haven't personally yet, let's say, pinpointed everything astrologically. I would say this is a work in progress, but I think we need to also understand these gifts because these are very, very tricky. These are very tricky and even trickier than the ones we've talked about. Psychometry, psychic touch. Now this can happen when you take an object, like I have this elephant, for example, here, whatever it is, you are somewhere in a store, you're in visiting somebody, you take it into your hand and suddenly you get a flash or you get a vision or you get a feeling or you get a sensation or you hear something about actually the object and that gives you a message. Again, I would say this is very tricky. But be on the lookout if you start having this as well, because again, this is giving you information. And if you're giving, this is my understanding of if you're given a form of information, this is for a reason. This is for a reason for you to use. Again, with the best of intentions in mind. Now, psychic dreams and spirit communication. I think this is one of the maybe more common ones because it's easier for your guides and for, let's say, spirits to give you information in the dream world. But be really clear, and I'll be really clear. This is where I feel very comfortable in this world. There are many types of different dreams. There are ones where you are in direct communication with an entity, with a loved one, with a passed on spirit. There are lucid dreams where you're discovering other worlds, where there are dreams where you're in astral realms. There are subconscious dreams. There are um, this is, I don't know how to name it even, but there are dreams where you're in direct connection with spirit, God, the universe, your spirit guides, and it's very palpable, it's very energetic, it's very physical. These are all different sorts of dreams. I wouldn't ignore any of these. These are all given again for a reason, and the messages are given for a reason. So, for example, you might even wake up in the dream and you're hearing words being spoken to you, and you're getting, let's say, a very energetic download, a physical sensation download in your body at the same time. So, this is how it can also look like. Now, what is very important in this realm is your capacity to navigate and manage your fear. Because the minute you start going into fear because of maybe it's so scary, maybe it's so much, maybe it's so intense, the minute this connection starts rupturing, meaning that sometimes the message can be, cut, or the experience can be cut. The more power you have over your emotions, feelings, sensations, the easier it is to get these messages. And I would say a lot of the aspects we've already spoken about are important here as well. And we'll look at some charts in a second. If you have anything, maybe Christina, to share
Yes,
or add. Yeah.
yes, definitely. Because of, I wrote a book and finally it's in the publisher. It's an astrology book, and there is a part, my family is a psychic. So everyone, Zsombor has Jupiter Sun in the 12th house. He does remember in his previous lives. And, many, many times he told me how he died and, what's happened previously when Martin kicked him out from my womb. And, he had to come 3 years later, as I mentioned before. And he was very clear, he was an old man in his previous life driving a sports car, a Porsche actually. And he was 3 years old in the bathtub and always hitting that same car. And I was like, if you don't want that car, I'm gonna give it away. Why are you doing that? And he said, no, 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 mommy, I should not do that. I should not have this car. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it away. And he said, no, 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 you don't understand. I have it when I was an old man and I was just going and fast, fast, fast. And boom, I went in the tree and I died. And I was like, oh, okay, so that was your previous line, but it was very funny. And obviously his chart actually showing that. And in my book, I explain everything by the Maton sees like totally clearly, he hears and he sees spirit just like me with open eyes. He sees, the wherever we go, they know. For example, my husband on my 50th birthday, rented out a beautiful historic house. And the moment we went in, he went in first. And George is a Scorpio stellium. He hears, but he not necessarily feels it right away. So he went first, opened the door, and I went with the two boys, and both of the boys grabbed my hand and looked at me and they said, what the? And I was like, oh, George. And he was like, what? Nothing good enough for you guys. It was beautiful, historic. And we were like, you don't feel the spirit? This is like, it was not very bad, but it was still scary at night. And, it was very weird. All right. And the other thing is, the smelling. For example, to me, the smelling, you said the wood and the fire. My grandfather and Padre Pio, to me, always coming with cigar smells.
Mm-hmm.
So when I feel the cigar, I was like, oh, do you hear? I love that. And the air, it's always decreasing. I feel freezing. And it's not my Hashimoto, right? So I feel like a freeze and I am like, oh my God, so what's going on? So they are coming. And the smell, the the taste, it's a little bit different because sometimes I have metal and sometimes I have bitterness. But often I am like, oh my God, am I diabetic? Or, like, because obviously I say, it's like, I'm a nurse and right away I am, oh, what is the symptoms of metallic taste, But obviously it could be also the taste because of, I don't know. I didn't really write that about because I think my bitterness taste and the metallic taste could be something else. Maybe it's health related. But as you said, you have to write it down and we will and connect it with that. But definitely everyone, Martin sees with his eyes open. He was screaming. He saw my friend in the shower and started to scream. And when we were running with George in, we were like, "What's going on?" And he was shaking. And he said, "A woman was in this shower in a white dress and long red hair." And I said, "That's okay, baby. Just tell, she's not gonna hurt you. I don't know who is the person, but okay, just." And that night, I let him to sleep in my room and I gave him melatonin. And I went to have a bath very late at midnight, and my cell phone actually came on with Facebook. And I was like, what? I didn't touch. Ian, I didn't touch my cell phone. It came on with my friend, but I didn't know my friend who just died in cancer 3 months before. And I didn't know her with long red hair. And she was in a white dress on the picture. And I was like, oh my God, Sarah, that was you. And apparently that day, Martin was writing a happy birthday wishes to Sarah's daughter because she had the birthday, and that's why Sarah came actually to the shower to thank it for him. But Martin didn't want to listen. He started to scream right away. He was 9 years old.
Of
Obviously,
course.
that's why I'm saying sometimes it could be extremely scary. So, but I'm telling you, like this family is like so open and so psychic. Like this is like absolutely weird.
I
Yeah.
I'm happy, that you're supporting them, through it, because I think this is really important, because the next generation will have more seeing, more clear visions, more everything, and when they have support, it's easier for them to navigate it and bring, the new messages, new visions, new downloads, everything, new information. So this is important. One thing I wanted to add about like the psychic dream, spirit communication, like a very loaded 12th house, ruler of the first in the 12th house, like you said, south node in the 12th house, again, water houses. This is the 12th house is the dreams, the dream world, where we sleep and how we sleep. So there a lot of influences there, or aspected 12th house ruler also again can bring a lot of that communication, like for myself, south node in the 12th house. Okay, guys, I think we are at the end, and I brought one more example, and we're going to go back shortly to the let's say prize game as well. But I wanted to bring Sylvia Brown here. She's a, let's say, you know quite a famous United States psychic person, again, and there's a lot here in the chart, but one of the, like, the main pieces I would like to, let's say, discuss here is definitely the stellium in the Sagittarius in the 11th house. What I would like to also say is Moon, Jupiter, and North Node conjunction. This is, I mean, if you see something like this, especially such a strong Jupiter, maybe North Node is, classically, some people say it's weakened in Sagittarius, but even then, Jupiter, Moon, North Node together, this is a very plugged in person. And I think she was started doing that at a very young age. They almost had to like stop her because she was like telling, she was like, I think the story I read was like she was telling her mother when her father was going to kind of like visit the girlfriends or something like that. So no, I'm not. This is not a good thing, obviously, to do for a husband. But like this is the story of a young child who doesn't know any better, just tuning into the cosmos, getting information as well. So also we can mention the Neptune in the eighth house. And I think this is important to understand that it doesn't always have to be a watery sign. It can be a watery house. Yes, eighth house, very strong, Neptune. But a Virgo actually can help it be more practical, more grounded. This, let's say, psychic type energy can be more grounded. And one important piece with this chart, and we talked about the high priestess position, which is the moon in the third house, but she actually has the high priest position, which is sun in the ninth house, which is a very, again, a little bit weakened with the Libra sun, but this is again high priest position. When you see a sun in the ninth house, it's usually a person with a plugged in type of living in the
You,
world.
you
Mercury,
see
Mercury,
North Node on the galactic center, for
correct.
example. And that's very, very important also, the galactic center and Jupiter, not just also in rulership, but in planetary joy, also in the 11th house. So that's also very important with this major conjunction. So the knowing of Sylvia Brown, actually, like she has knowing many, many times, that's definitely there. And anyway, she has a grand water trine because 16 12 degrees where Saturn Pluto 12 degrees, but we still consider 12 degrees trine to be like that kind of water trine, yes. And Venus is in Scorpio over there, so definitely, and midheaven in Scorpio, so that's very psychic. It's very yeah. And yes, the eighth house placement for sure.
One thing I didn't mention, and I think this is a little bit underrated as well. I think maybe we can also say that we need to pay attention to this as well. Ascendant in Aquarius, which is interesting. The modern ruler goes into a watery fourth house, an emotional house. This, I would say, alone would be like, maybe they're a, farmer, a house mother, whatever. Uh, but the point I'm making is, if you look at the entire chart with everything else, the ruler of the first becomes, for me, it's always very important, but it's also important to put the all pieces together. So we're talking about the moon and the Jupiter, but also let's look at the first house ruler. Where does it go? Is it an emotional house? Is it a watery house? Again, tells us another clue, guys. Let's go back for a second and talk about this chart. Just just a moment. This is again the world famous that we're going to discuss in the comments. Please, guys, leave your votes. Remember, one vote each. But look at this chart. When I hadn't seen this chart when I was doing let's say research, and I was like wanting to bring a new chart that I hadn't really studied so deeply. And for most astrologers, I think I think this stellium in Pisces in the eighth house, again with all of these conjunctions, quite close conjunctions. I would say for most people this will tell an immediate story that this person is, extremely plugged in, and can help people heal, can help people, can tell them valuable information directly. And maybe an honorable mention, and a very important honorable mention here, is the Uranus very close to ascendant, so they could download immediate information. Not to mention this Pluto MC moon close here as well. I see in Scorpio. Yeah.
But Uranus ascendant conjunction, because Uranus is in detriment over here, it could make this person sick because of, the downloads, the constant downloads and the constant helps, I believe so, because the Uranus is in detriment. So, yeah, I like this person had to be maybe careful with the information because somehow lost the energy because of, like that's what we do also. You
Yeah.
losing energy when you are giving away. I lose a lot of energy. I have to be really careful with one-on-one readings. And obviously the purpose of our help later on going to be like help the a wider audience, but not necessarily one-on-one reading. I understand why Lada doesn't do it anymore. It's training. It is like, oh my God, you're taking away. So I can see that this person also drained.
I definitely agree, and I'll give you a hint. It is documented that this person actually did for, I think it was even over 14,000 one-on-one readings in their lifetime. So this hint I will also give you. But if you hear that number, that sheer number, it's just a lot to take. And with those, if you have so much Piscean energy anyway, your boundaries, your emotional, let's say, energetic boundaries, there's a lot of things happening. They can be penetrated. You're taking on so much, you're going to be drained. But this person, I'll give you another hint because this was a bit of a fun hint. They foresaw their own death, like to the T, which was they told. I can't say that who they told because then it will be too much. But yeah, this is
Yeah,
a
you can
powerful
tell,
psychic.
exalted Venus over there in the eighth house. The person definitely has lucidity, lucid dreams, dreamland, uh, and there is a lot of psychic ability over there. And North Node in Pisces, wow, all right. Very, very psychic. On the other hand, guys, I wanted to mention something over here just for 1 second. We can go back here. When I really, because I was born as a, what is that? When you die, oh, stillborn, stillborn.
Mm,
But I came back after 4 minutes when they told my mother, like I'm gonna be actually mentally disabled because I was too, without oxygen. Turned out actually became the genius, but that's all right. But the other hand is, at age 17, I saw UFO and I had an amazing experience, very, very weird, but, I totally, it's like no doubt about, UFOs, for example, and many times because that's when it started to become very, very strong again and picked up at age 17. So I'm wondering maybe they came or I had the experience and they gave me some kind of extra ability. But Jose Silva, not mind control, but Silva techniques. If you
yes.
go there, I did finish many multiple times the Silva mind technique. And over there, we learned actually our psychic ability, and he taught his children, actually his 4 children, how to become psychic. So if you have a child or if you are willing to do that, they still do in Hungary, they still have a lot of Silva technique workshops, but around the world, in Texas, they also have it and around the world. And in your country, actually, what's his name? The Indian guy, Vishek. Vishek does
Vishak,
the
yeah.
mind valley technique, and it is based on Silva. Guys, we actually detected illness in the body. He taught us how to detect, and I started to use my ability to detect illness, and through him. But another other person, oh my God, Edgar Casey. So I did the Edgar Casey Institute. It was like a 4 months workshop, like multiple things. I was not very pleased with that somehow, but you can also go to the institute. It's online workshop, and maybe I was not really pleased because I'm already really evolved psychically, and they couldn't really tell me a lot of things over there. But if you are a beginner, then just go to Silva Mind Technique and Edgar Casey Institute and just learn as much as you can because you're capable to bring the psychic out from you.
Yeah, 100%. These are learnable skills. Sometimes, like we discussed a little bit, these are suppressed. Sometimes because of family, sometimes because of other events in your life. So you can bring them out So I think I have just one more kind of thing I want to tell you about, guys. Again, about the app. So those of you who didn't see the first part, this is it. Me and my team members, we built a awesome astrology app. This is completely free. The first version. It's available on Android, Google Play. It will tell you a lot about your own natal chart, your own life. It will tell you your daily, weekly, monthly transits, what's going on with you personally, and you can actually use it for other people as well if you know their birth data. And go and check it out. Benefic. I think it will help you. It will help you discover more about yourself. These some of these gifts that we discussed here as well. So that's it from me.
Yes, actually, I'm going to put everything, even the first episode, I'm going to put that in the description box, and also I'm going to put the app for you and your details. If you want to have a reading with Ian, just go ahead, and I'm gonna put everything below. And please contact with us. Please communicate. Make comments and share that on social media. In other social media, we are not actually present, or maybe we are present, but just share our teaching and workshops over there. It would help a lot for us. And thank you so much, everyone, to being here with us. And I think it's going to go well. And as I said, there is going to be also a link soon for the calendar what we created together, and hopefully we can create that financial astrology app together. We will see, but it's a lot of work. But I already written like for 3 years, so it's gonna be easy. So watch out, guys. Okay, for our collaboration. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye for now.